Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We are going to talk about XRP. And I got to start with this. We're transitioning to a new treasury dollar, a debt-free currency backed by real-world assets. This isn't entirely new. It's a return to sound money principles, and you see it on the debt clock. Now, I think this treasury dollar could either be in the form of digital money or it's going to be in the form of a paper dollar for a period of time. Nobody's really sure on which direction this is going in yet, because I see so many mixed reviews on it. Some people say it's going to be paper money. Other people say, no, it's going to be the new digital dollar. The one thing I'm worried about is look what happened in the past when we tried to change currencies. Lincoln was assassinated. So was Kennedy. Who's going to announce the new treasury dollar? That's what I'm really keeping an eye on. And you know, we are headed into a whole new financial system. At the same time, you see other countries are well ahead of the United States when it comes to CBDC. But I don't think the US is as far behind as people think. I think it's been being worked on the whole time. People were arguing about it, saying that they're fighting back against CBDC. So I thought I would put a post on that as well. Maybe the doom and gloom crowd won't like this post, but what if I said CBDC won't expire over time? Here's why. Business and corporations would fail, small and large, because they need to have cash reserves to cover unexpected costs and overhead. People will need to have money in savings for unexpected house or car repairs and even medical expenses. Banks would fail since they use deposits to lend to other customers to make money. I will add to this list, or you could add to this list if you would like. Put it in the comments section down below. And you know, I think CBDC won't expire, but I think UBI will, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But it doesn't make sense for CBDC to expire. What do they want you to do? They want you to adopt CBDC. They want you to use CBDC the same way you use money. So why would it ever expire over time? And you know, nobody's 100% certain if they're going to use CBDC against you. But me personally, I think in the wrong hands, CBDC could be it's like the razor's edge. It could be used for good or it could be used for bad, like everything in this world. UBI, Universal Basic Income, would expire. But why would it expire? It would be money provided by the government and controlled by the government and paid in CBDC. They want a new system that doesn't include money laundering or illicit activity. So how do you control it? Issue money that expires so people can't stockpile it or save it for a rainy day, and limit how much goes to each class of citizen, from welfare to retired. Control what can be bought with the money. No drugs, no trips to the strip club. I just threw that one out there. Or anything that will cause harm to your health, like cigarettes, etc., alcohol. I wanted to keep this list simple so you can add to it as well. UBI is the worst idea in my opinion, because look at the testing here in the United States. They are giving people $1,200 a month, which most people would still struggle to live on with inflation rising. UBI also would allow people to do the bare minimum and never strive to excel or change their situation. Just accept it. People would just give up if they got handed money every single month. They would never try to start a business. They would never even care about going to work ever again. Some people would hail that. They would love to get $1,200 a month from the government. But, you know, that would not cut the cost today. But however, when a new system comes, the debt would be gone, inflation would be gone, you know, we would have a whole new system. By then, most things would be reevaluated. You know, the car market would look a lot different. The housing market would most likely look a lot different. But they would give you even less then, because they're only giving you basic, whatever it takes for you to live on. And I don't think they would let you stockpile the money either. Other people said there's ways around this, saying that, you know, you could use, maybe the drug dealer opens up a shop and he sells this, but in fact, he's selling drugs. I'm sure people will come up with a way to beat the system. But the one thing I wanted to point out is that CBDC might not expire. Think about it. You go to work, you get paid in CBDC, only to have it expire over time. There's no way people would go for that. But UBI is free government money, and they can control whatever happens with universal basic income. That was the point I was trying to make. Reportedly, the German government has run out of Bitcoin in wallets. Finally, they run out of Bitcoin. Maybe every single day you won't see the Bitcoin maxi saying, good, let them sell it. They're going to regret it later. But I think Germany knows what's going on. I think there's a reason why Germany offloaded all of their Bitcoin at this specific time for a reason. Plus, you got to remind yourself the U.S. government also just sold off some of their Bitcoin as well. UK bank refuses to accept funds converted from Bitcoin to buy a house. And people said so backwards. So thank you for your email. We require confirmation as to what the money is and where it has come from. From looking at your source of funds questionnaire, you have simply put that the funds have come from savings. Where has the money been accumulated from? Please note that if the money is from a source such as Bitcoin, then this will not be accepted by our firm. And I think you're going to see more of that happen as we push into the future. And I pointed that out on X, and sure, I pissed off a hell of a lot of people, like always. I'm just pointing out the facts. Things are changing around Bitcoin. And every single day you see announcements just like this, or it's showing how Bitcoin's tied to illicit activity. And when you see a narrative like that, they will eventually have a solution to the problem. And they see Bitcoin as a problem. They're not going to have competition for a CBDC. Which brings me to this point right here. Take a listen to what David Schwartz says. Will Bitcoin replace the dollar? David Schwartz from Ripple on the subject.
I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, transaction confirmations take 10 minutes. They cost, $8 or so. The transaction throughput rate is maybe, it's around 10 or 12 transactions per second. It's very poor resolution of the double spend problem. It's like by objective measures, it's very poor consensus. The reason it's so successful is because it was first and it grew. That's not irrelevant. Like, I don't use the US dollar because it's the technically most advanced fiat currency I could use, right? I use the US dollar because everybody else does. It's what people in my area use. It's the biggest, and so I use it. And for something to win over the US dollar purely on technological merit, it's almost unthinkable, but it would have to be. That's sort of what Bitcoin's trying to do, right? It's trying to win out over the dollar on its sort of technical merit. And between cryptocurrencies, it's an even more difficult to win out on technical merit. I think it's sort of an unfortunate historical accident that proof of work was first.
So what David's saying is, if Bitcoin is trying to replace the US dollar, it's just not going to happen. Nobody's going to use something that costs a lot of money to use, number one, and it's still very slow. And there's still problems with Bitcoin. And, there's David Schwartz, most likely the guy who created Bitcoin, telling you that Bitcoin's never going to replace the dollar. Yet every single day all over X, you have people saying, wait until Bitcoin replaces the US dollar. Wait until they back the US dollar by Bitcoin. It's like nonsensical at this point. And the reason that I wanted to point this out is because XRP is not looking to replace the US dollar. Take a listen to Brian Brooks right here.
So the point that I always try and tell people is, the biggest issue that I always try and focus on is cryptocurrencies are really not about currency. And the biggest misunderstanding of this whole discussion is the belief that if crypto is not doing a great job of replacing the US dollar, then crypto is failing in its mission. And what I think we'll talk about a little bit today is the idea that most of crypto is about replacing the centralized banking system with networks that allow user control versus bank CEO control. The crypto assets that have prices are more like internet stocks. It's more like you bet on Google if you think there's going to be high internet traffic, and you short Google if you think people are going to go back to the post office, right? But it's not that Ethereum or Ripple or anything else is trying to replace the US dollar. It's trying to replace a system of transmitting value, and we'll talk a lot more about that.
And that's why XRP is the future and Bitcoin is the past. Whenever something threatens the system, they're going to get rid of it. And that's what I tried to stress to people earlier today all over X, and I pissed them off instead. But that's fine, because I'm more looking at the new retail investors that are coming into this market. I'm not trying to change a Bitcoin maxi's mind. It's just not possible. But you got to look at it like this also. What's holding up Bitcoin? Belief. Belief that it's going to go higher in price. And you even have Michael Saylor, the poster child for selling to retail, out there all the time saying it's going to go to $1 million. No, it's going to go to $8 million. But once Tether goes and it takes Bitcoin with it and it starts plummeting out, all of a sudden the belief will end Bitcoin. The belief will end and the money will pour away from Bitcoin, and it'll end up in utility, because all of a sudden you're going to see XRP rising in price and everybody will believe in XRP. Most people already know what it's capable of. They just need the price to go along with the belief. And even Brad Garlinghouse just recently said he can't even believe that XRP is sitting at the price it's sitting at right now. It should be a lot higher based on the fact that we now got clarity for XRP. But the market doesn't seem to have caught up with that yet. But once the Ripple versus SEC case ends, watch how fast the money pours into XRP. Everybody's going to have it at that moment, because everybody fears missing out. That's the biggest fear people have in crypto. They don't want to miss out on anything. It's the same reason you see people chase meme coins all the time. And those days will come to an end as well once regulations get here. A lot of things are going to change over the coming months, is what I'm telling you. The good thing is you're invested in the right way. And I don't even like to argue with people about Bitcoin. I just like to point out the facts around it. Because at least then I warned you. I told you what was going to happen based on the facts that I'm seeing. You do with that information what you will. And, hopefully you make a lot of money and you get out of Bitcoin before it's too late. But I really do believe at some point we are going to watch XRP flip Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time. And, until it all happens, you got to stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.